Now the next topic is medical termination of pregnancy. But before this, let's have a brief discussion about the technique that is amniocentesis. Amniocentesis. In the uterus, during the development, the embryo is enclosed in the amniotic cavity. Amniotic cavity. This amniotic cavity has the fluid called as amniotic fluid. Amniotic fluid. This amniotic fluid protects and surrounds the baby, the developing baby, during the gestation period or the pregnancy. So we will try to understand this technique amniocentesis with the help of a demo. So suppose this is the amniotic cavity. So the baby is enclosed in this amniotic cavity having the amniotic fluid. This amniotic fluid is clear to pale yellow in color. During the development, this amniotic fluid receives the embryonal cells or the fetal cells like the skin cells, liver cells, placental cells. So with the help of a surgical needle, this amniotic fluid is taken out to analyze any prenatal chromosomal abnormalities like Turner syndrome, Down syndrome, or the metabolic disorders for the deficiency of protein enzymes or the hormones like phenylketonuria or the alkaptonuria. This amniocentesis is being carried out only after the 15th week of the gestation period. Means it is being done between the 15th to 20th week of the development, not before that, because it may cause damage to the fetus or the leaking of this amniotic fluid from this amniotic cavity, which may even cause the miscarriage. Now this amniocentesis has been banned due to its misuse in sex detection and which leads to the female feticides. As the NCERT has mentioned this amniocentesis term into the topic medical termination of pregnancy, and it is connected with the MTP, that is medical termination of pregnancy. So we have discussed this in very brief. So now we will move to the medical termination of pregnancy. So the medical termination of pregnancy that is in short called as the MTP or induced abortion. Medical termination of pregnancy or induced abortion. So the intentional or the voluntary termination of the pregnancy before the full term to avoid the unwanted birth is called as the medical termination of pregnancy. So here it is: intentional or voluntary termination of pregnancy before full term to avoid unwanted birth is termed as MTP, medical termination of pregnancy. So this all over the worldwide, all over the means worldwide, per year 45 to 50 million MTP are done per year. which is 1/5 of the total number of conceived pregnancy worldwide. It is the 1/5 of total number of conceived pregnancy. Now in India has legalized this medical termination of pregnancy with certain conditions, strict condition to avoid illegal and the indiscriminate use of this medical termination of pregnancy against the female feticide. So in India has legalized, India in 1971 legalized MTP in 1971 with certain strict conditions, because the female feticide were reported to be very high. So the misuse of the MTP and the amniocentesis were going on. So strict regulation and the control has been made. So now what are the conditions to allow the MTP? So now the conditions for the MTP. Conditions to allow MTP. So under what condition the MTP can be done? So here number one is the pregnancy may be fatal for the mother. So pregnancy endanger mother's life. Means mother may be suffering from the heart disease, so it may be lethal for the mother to conceive the baby, to deliver the baby. Then the baby, child to be born may have some serious disorder, so disorder like here the example can be the child can be suffering from the anencephaly. So in this, the part of the brain or the skull is absent into the embryo. So in this case, the child which is to be born, so the MTP is allowed. So in this case, it has been allowed. And next one, the socio-economic reason, socio-economic factor. Means the family or the mother has already 2 or more than 2 child. So mother already have 2 or more than 2 children. And case of humanitarian means the pregnancy can be due to the sexual abuse or the raped pregnancy. So in this we have already studied the emergency contraception. Then lastly can be due to the failure of contraception. So the barrier method or the pill get vomiting of pill. Rupture of the condom. So the reason can be of any. So in these cases, the MTP are allowed with the permission of the registered medical practitioner. So this the gestation period or the pregnancy can be divided into the this pregnancy period. Average pregnancy period is of the average pregnancy period is of 280 days or almost 40 weeks or 40 weeks. So this is divided into the three categories. They are termed as the first trimester, second trimester and the third trimester. The first trimester is from the first week to the 12 week of duration. So it has the equal to the 40 weeks almost. So from the first to 12 week, it comes under the first trimester. From 13 to 26 week, it comes into the second trimester, and from 27 week to the till birth, it comes under the third trimester. So now comes to the mechanism of the contraception, medical termination of pregnancy. Now comes to the mechanism of medical termination of pregnancy. Mechanism of action, or the mechanism of action of MTP. This MTP can be done safely up to the first trimester, from 1 to 12 week. So the mechanism of action now. Here the two methods are available for the MTP. One is the drug induced method and another is the surgical method. Drug induced MTP and another is the surgical MTP. Then this drug induced MTP can be done. It can be done either up to 7 week or 49 days, and another category is it is of up to the 9 week or 63 days. It can be done up to this duration. In this for this duration, the drug used are the combination of methotrexate and combination of misoprostol. This drug combination is used in this. This methotrexate act as folic acid antagonist. So it do not allow cellular division. So it causes it stops the placental growth and it do not effective against the trophoblast. So it stop placental growth and effective against trophoblast. So this misoprostol causes the uterine contraction and causes the endometrium rupturing and leads to the endometrium rupture. But this method has the certain side effects, and it is less effective, so it is less used. It has more side effect, and less effective, so less used, less common. Another category is to terminate the pregnancy up to the period of 9 weeks or the 63 days. It can be done by the combination of two drugs, that is mifepristone and misoprostol. This misoprostol, when given in combination with mifepristone instead with the methotrexate, it is more effective. Mifepristone, it is also called as RU486, and this methotrexate is called as the MTX. Methotrexate. This misoprostol causes the uterine contraction, but this mifepristone, it acts as the progesterone antagonist. Now this mifepristone, it inhibit the action of the progesterone. It bind to the progesterone receptor more tightly as compared to the progesterone itself, without expressing the biological effect. So it bind to the progesterone receptor more tightly as compared to the progesterone itself. So it inhibit the progesterone action. Act as progesterone antagonist, inhibit progesterone action by binding more tightly to progesterone receptors than progesterone itself. So it blocks the action of the progesterone. Now the misoprostol causes the endometrium rupturing. Due to this, the embryo detach from endometrium and it stops producing the HCG and stops producing HCG. It do not produce the further HCG. This HCG is the human chorionic gonadotropic hormone. Presence of this HCG into the urine confirms the pregnancy. So it is also called as the pregnancy confirmatory hormone. This HCG maintains the corpus luteum, and the corpus luteum continue to produce the progesterone, which maintains the endometrium. Now the HCG when stops producing, so the corpus luteum do not produce the further progesterone. Corpus luteum ceases to produce progesterone and degenerate, and the corpus luteum will degenerate. So next is the inhibition over the uterine contraction is uplift, it is removed. Now the inhibition over uterine contraction is uplift. Now the embryo which is detached from the endometrium, the embryo and the parts of the endometrium are expelled out from the uterus due to the uterine contraction created by this misoprostol, and it causes the termination of the pregnancy. So the embryo and endometrium and endometrial processes expelled out from the uterus. So it causes the termination of pregnancy. So this method is quite effective and it is widely used. Now the surgical medical termination of pregnancy. They are applicable up to the 9 weeks or the 63 days, and the surgical medical termination of pregnancy can work up to the 12 weeks. It is for the 12 weeks. Now this is done by the vacuum aspiration. It is made through the vacuum aspiration. Means the vacuum is developed and the cervical cervical aperture has been dilated. So cervix has been dilated. So the vacuum created by the manually or through the electric process, the underlying process of the uterus, that is the endometrium, and the developing embryo has been expelled out. So the cervical aperture, cervical process or the path has been dilated through this vacuum aspiration. So this is applicable up to the 12 weeks. Now for the NEET point of view, what you have to remember and what is important. So this drugs, mifepristone, misoprostol or the methotrexate, these drugs names need not to be remembered. They doesn't need to be remembered for how much period they are effective. So here what is important for the NEET, in which year the India has legalized the MTP in India. So the 1971. It is important because NCERT has mentioned this data. So data are very important for the NEET point of view. So in 1971 India has legalized MTP. So it is the first question for the NEET. And second one, up to the which period the MTP is safe. So it is up to the first trimester or the first 1 to 12 week, for the up to the 12 weeks. So safe period for the MTP is the first trimester or the 12 weeks. So here it is the first trimester.